Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Right here, 1974 Westie. Pretty sure it's 74. Anywho's, what we're doing to this in this episode is probably going to be one of my, I don't know, I'm just going to say it now. I'm probably, bend myself over later as we're doing this. Simple. I'm going to get some of my fun stuff out of the way first. Electrical. Fog lights. Got to finish wiring them. The owner installed them, just didn't wire them. And put a tachometer in this car. But simple. Hopefully. It's not like the other buses we had in here where we're running looms all over the place. The biggest run I have to do is for the Tach to go back to that engine. But I figure do a little simple episode right now before we knock out other stuff because, well, I'm waiting on parts as always. We're also going to be doing dual carbs on this car because there's a single, I think, 38 on it currently. And a little other odds and ends that need to get done. But this episode, just hopefully a nice chill episode. We're just to get these fog lights working and put a Tach in the car. So I don't even know where I want to start. Probably inside the car. Yeah, we'll knock out the electrical inside the car. Also, don't know how filming is going to go because, well, if you watch this channel, I suck at it. So join me somewhere while I'm in the car. You could be in there too. Alrighty, I threw some light in here, so hopefully it illuminates some things. Anyway, this is a Helikit. Comes with the wiring harness. Well, obviously, the fog lights are in front of the car. The big thing is figuring out where the hell to mount all this stuff. I'm going to be tapping into the fuse block to get my powers. For obvious reasons, that's where the power comes from. So red, because this fuse should be 12 volt something. There's just so much extra wire. I like these relay kits because I don't have to wire them, but I also don't like them because, well, now I have like 3 million miles of wire. That blue's ground, that's easy. Black is probably signal because it's long as heck. Oh, it's spliced. Cool. Wire spliced for left and right side, so that's good. I don't have to get into there. And then yellow would be trigger. Probably. Yeah, if that's out, this is probably trigger. Red's power, so yeah, that makes sense. As much sense as it can make. I need a flashlight. I might actually put this on the lift so I'm not doing this game. Holy electrical. Well. Huh. There's a pink wire that's not connected to anything. What does it do? There's a pink spade terminal under here that's not connected. That'd be great if it's power. So I could just splice right into that. And I don't have to mess around with a fuse block. Test light. Sometimes being lucky is better than being good. Just saying. That should be grounded. Power on. Nothing. This is a grounding issue. No, not a good ground. That would be fantastic if this wire does something. What does it go to? It plugs into the fuse block. Oh, no. It comes out of the ignition switch? ARC. I don't know what that means. Huh. This does have an electric fuel pump, which is fine. It's just bad all at the same time. All right, looks like I got to pull down a box. Crap. Because I don't have an easy way to tap in. And I see the main log, main 12 volt coming in. Shouldn't be too terrible to backside that. I was just hoping I didn't, you know, I was going to get lucky. I'm just trying to figure out what some of this wiring is doing because it doesn't make sense to me. There's a bunch of splices under here, so that's good. I'm just, you know, saying words because words are the key for dialogue. Yeah, robbing 12 volt hot, no, it's not, it shouldn't be a big deal. It's just going to be a pain in the butt. Because I got to tap into the back of the box to get 12 volt. All right, let me get a screwdriver. I'm going to drop the fuse panel. I figured this would be zip tied up a little bit better, but it's not. That's also okay. Because I need 12 hot. Weather's kicking my butt again. That looks like a ground. Grounded enough. That one's nothing. All right, so we got a ground. And that's power. Power. Side one? No. I can pull my power out of the light switch. That is another option. Wow, no, it's not. It looks like someone gooed the crap out of everything. All right, well, scratch that idea. All right, let me do what I said I was going to do and drop this fuse block. It's two, should be 2 Phillips. Unscrew them. It should tilt down. Fuse block is, well, loose. I did disconnect the, did disconnect the battery. It's probably the only time, I don't even know if you can see me, because I dropped you. I did disconnect the battery. Probably the only time I will recommend disconnecting a battery would be if you're messing with the fuse block. How's that look? Whatever. Just looking at something. I don't think you're looking at a seat. But anyway, dropping the fuse block is probably the only time I recommend disconnecting a battery. Sheer fact that now you got a whole bunch of electrical wires you're going to be yanking on. And, yeah, you don't want to short them out, because that would be real bad. All right, what I'm looking for is this big, fat, red and white stripe wire. That should be the main for everything. And then what I'll do is I'll T-tap on that and then get a lead out. Also be careful reefing on these things because, well, the last thing you need to do, not T-tap, chair terminal. Last thing you need to do is, well, rip wires out and then wonder why you know, crap ain't working after you're done with it. Chair terminal is basically, you know, an add a circuit. Click that on. We'll pull the main out. Hopefully. There, that's out. Pretty sure that was shared terminal. That wasn't the main, but I couldn't get the main out. Same, but different. I'm on the bottom of the block, so it would be whatever I'm unplugging is direct power. Fuse is on the top, or the fused side would be on the top of the block. Like I said, all I'm doing is adding a circuit. So I can rob power. All right, that's reattached. This wire should be hot now. Well, when we put power to it. There's the other screw. All right. Stuck. Try to put this back. Try to put this back. All right. Fuse block is in. Where's that lead? All right, let me connect the battery. Hopefully nothing gets on fire. I'll probe it to see if I have a 12 volt there now. If I know where my wire is. I didn't hear anything explodey, so that's good. That should be a ground. I mean, it has a ground wire on it. I don't like it. I'll just go back to where I was. Preferably attached to something. All right, we got power? Yes. All right, does this wire have power? Yes, I guessed right. All right, good. The bus is alive again. There's juice to this, so I'm happy. I should really strip the other end of that, but I didn't. Relay. Where the hell am I going to put it? Kind of limited on options for installing. Might have to live up there, because then I could wiring. All right, let me get this relay mounted now up here. Boop. That's really the only place that I can mount it. Yeah. Yeah, buses are a pain just because you're so limited on places to hide stuff. I mean, let me pull this board out, actually. Try to without ripping absolutely everything up. Come on, why? Are you screwed down? Or are you glued down? You look like the space shuttle. No. You're just really in there. Come on, there we go. All right. Gently remove it. I mean, I can put the relay down here. Had a bunch of nose work. Did have a nose job. Yeah, I might just throw it in the floor. Down here in the well. Because it gave me plenty of wire. Ground will be interesting because now I'm away from any grounding spot. The joys. I mean, is that really already? No. That was sucked. Not tall enough to mount there. Yeah, because you can't drill into any of the sheet metal. Main reason, well, you're going to create a hole to the front of the vehicle, and you don't want that. Yeah, I think my option for going up here was the best one. Whale poop. The thinking that is involved in doing something like this sucks. You know, if I wasn't using a relay, it'd be so much easier. I could just, power, and power. But because we're using a relay and all this stuff, now, it's not harder. Just got to think a bit more. And I don't like thinking. Welcome to Stare and Watch at Me Figure Something Out channel. Yeah, we'll go up there. We're doing it. That's where we're gonna go. Well, I got a ground on that headlight. I can go here on a pinch weld. Because I got a headlight ground right there. That would be behind, and I can index it backwards. All right, let me get this stupid thing mounted. I'll be right back. Making progress. Heat shrink. Still got to order more. I have not done that yet. You can go in there. All right. Relay. Boop, boop. Mounted there. I pulled the wiring up already. So this is going to be the hot for the relay. This will be the trigger for the relay. And this wire, which was supplied, is going to be the power to the switch. That powers the trigger. I don't know where the switch is going to go yet because it's a stupid switch. So I am going to leave this pretty freaking long and shorten it accordingly. cut that off. And then I'm going to solder all these connectors together. Or all the connections together. Yes, I'm getting the feed and the switch power. So the headlight power and the relay power are coming off the same circuit. This is why it's the relay's adding an extra step for this, kinda. It's to lessen the load on the system. But if you're pulling off of like a, say a 25 amp switch, you don't need the relay. And going by these wires, they're really small. I think they're like 14 gauge. They look like it. It's not pulling that much amperage. So I think it's a bit overkill running a relay. But, I mean, it's supplied. It also helps with like lessening runs, honestly. But seeing how this is a bus, everything's right here. Try to get a good connection on this. Don't try to get a good connection on this because I need to put my heat shrink on. Ow, it just pinched the crap out of myself. It'd be so much easier if this door was not on the car. Yeah, you can use butt connectors for this. You don't have to heat shrink it. Or not heat shrink, solder it. You can do whatever you want to affix these wires. I like solder. It's just I'm more committed that this is now a permanent repair versus it can wiggle loose down the road. And in my opinion, a crappy solder joint is better than a good butt connector, solderless joint. Extension cord. And what I mean by crappy, I mean like I've had issues with those, the crimp connectors, the solderless connectors, especially on butts, not making good connection. So you think it's good, but you really don't know. At least I can physically see that. Hey, I got goo on this. I guess that's what I'm getting at. It's still a terrible description. Soldering also sucks. It's like welding. Everybody's an expert at it on the interwebs. Trying to get this thing to stick somewhere useful also sucks. There we go. That should be good enough. All right. So that's connected. Oh yeah, that's plenty good enough. Slide that over. I don't have my lighter on me. We'll come back to that. All right. So right now, technically, did I do that right? Yeah. All right. Right now, if I attach or if I reconnect the battery, damn it, and touch the yellow to the green, that relay should click, which would be sending power to the black. I hope. Say, in lieu of a switch, touching these two together should make that relay click. Yep. Okay, that's good. Undo the battery because now that's alive. And dangling, and I don't have a switch option. Currently. I do, I just don't know where it's going to mount. I'll probably just wire it up to wire it up. All right, now I have to get this black wire for my next trick. To get this black wire out the bottom of the car. Because these are going to go, these will power the headlights. And we got the main trough here. It's just a matter if I can, I'm going to have to move you, squeak my way through. I should be able to. Steering wheel's in the way. I don't feel like getting my head stuck behind the, oh, you're stuck on the cord. I don't feel like getting my head stuck behind that steering wheel. Let me run that wire and I'll be back. All right, guys, ran the wire. It's outside the car. Ow, bus, what have you. It's not currently living in there. Plan is now, let me get this thing racked up so I can get under it and wire the fogs in. Reason I want to do it in the air versus on the ground, because simple enough, I can wire it on the ground if I want to. Main reason is we have to run a Tach wire still, or the wire for the Tach. And I am not running that on the ground. So let me get this thing airborne and you'll join me. We'll connect these doobly-doos up and hopefully have them working. Be right back. All right, guys, got a, not a big problem, but a problem going on. Just looking at this, got to change the battery. They're pre-wired. Can't do anything about it. Can't go this way, body. Can go this way, don't really want to drill into it. But it is the entire, if you don't know, these are the entire thickness of the bumper. So you would be drilling and then drilling. The option right now would be trying to, well, lengthening this. We're going to have to lengthen it anyway, unfortunately, because I would only want to lengthen one wire, but I got to do two. Because ground. Bring it around the bumper and then come out somewhere under here. So let me lengthen these and then we'll connect these. Yeah. I think I have blue and black. I typically, if I lengthen colors, I like to keep them the same color for the most part. If I don't, it doesn't matter. You should be able to figure it out. But yeah, let me, so I got 4 wires I got to lengthen and then we can attach it to the switch that doesn't exist yet, and I got to change the battery. All right, great. Be right back. All right, anywho, lights are wired and routed around the bumper. Like I said, the reason I didn't, like, say, number one, pull the bumper back and run the wires around it, well, 2 reasons. 1, there's hardly any gap between this and that, so it ended up pinching. 2, I don't want to take the chance of one of the nutserts in here breaking and not being able to, say, attach a bumper or reattach a bumper. So they're just snaked around and pulled around. Frame grounded, wherever it is. And then the splice right here. So both left, right get joined into this. And that runs back up into there. Also, the electrical work on this thing already is, yeah. I'm really hoping this is speaker wire and not like running power. Personally. But yeah, there's already a bunch of butt connectors under here. I'm hopefully trying to eliminate that by doing, like I said, solder joints. So let me drop this thing, pull those light covers off, and I'll short the wires together. And technically it should work. I don't know how to get those covers off. So you just pull. Yes. I think they're LED, but I'm not sure. I'll need you again because we got to run a really long wire all the way to the back of the bus. For a tachometer. Tach, I am just going to find a wire and splice into it, key on power. So obviously it turns off. All right, is that battery on? Connected? Probably not. Might be. I don't know. Nope. All right. Battery on. Now, I should just be able to touch that green and the yellow, trigger the relay, and turn these lights on. Are they on? Yes. Off. Perfect. They work. They didn't look that bright. Stay twisted. Yeah, they're on. Oh, they're incandescent. I thought they were, whoa, they get brighter. The fluting is very, very deceiving. They're bright whenever you crouch down into the beam. So they're working. Oh, cool. Boop. Undo that. Like I said, whenever I get a switch, I'll figure out the rest of this part. I just wanted to make sure that this was good. Or at least the wiring was legit. So we know the fogs work. We put these back on. They are bulbs, incandescents, what have you. All right, those are good. Now, I think the plan is, because I make such good ones, I got to run got to run a wire all the way from the front of the car all the way back to get a Tach signal, which is, I mean, not horrible. It's just a lot of wire for a freaking Tach signal. Because I got a holy, what is going on with this? This is the first time I'm looking at it. There are so many wires on this thing. All right, that's reverse light, probably. This, I don't know. The yellow. What am I looking at here? Points? Come on. All right, still has points. I'm like, there's one wire coming out of this thing, out of the distributor, and it's red. They spliced it somewhere. Distributor is also 180 out. Not a big deal. But yeah, red wire is going to the negative. If you didn't know, an electronic ignition will run backwards. For how long? Not long, but it will. Or no, it won't. Certain ones might. Can't remember. Anyway, whatever I just said, dismiss it. Don't have your red wire go into the negative side of your turbo or your coil. So I think it would run backwards, but I'm not sure. And we have a green wire attached to this thing on the negative side already, and that should be Tach signal. There is an ADL, whatever you want to call it. There is a probe port. It was a 74. If I can figure out where that wire goes, which I know I'm not going to be able to, I can just splice into it. Nope, we're not doing that. That's going to take way too much time versus running a new standalone wire all the way to the front. All right, so the plan is I'm going to get 4,700 feet of wire connected here and shoot it to the front. Like I said, this is kind of why I was on the lift, so I can run this wire. If you watched the channel long enough in the bus, putting the AC in a bus, yep, about the same. All right, give me, well, next scene for you, unless I have developments, but give me some time and let me pull a wire. Yeah, every 5-minute job, and then you get to electrical, and it takes forever. So, be right back. 30-something minutes later, wiring takes a while. Extended the leads that I needed to extend. Like I said, all this stuff is going to get just buttoned up. Whenever I get the switch, I think I'm going to mount it here, but I need a different toggle than the one they supplied. They have one that you drill into the dash. I'm not a fan of drilling into the dash. I might, but I'm probably not. Just saying that. Tach is going to get mounted right about here. Boop, boop, somewhere in that general area. It keeps away from the knee, and you can still use the e-brake. And I don't think we hit the shifter. We hit the shifter. So it's going to have to be sucked in a little bit more. This is why we check. This is why we check. Buses suck because you really don't have a good place to mount anything. So it's going to be right about here. I think. Unless I put it on the other side. Oh, swing! And this clutch pedal seems weird. Both pedals look like they're giving birth. I might put it over here. Yeah, you won't hit anything. Yeah. I would use the dead space. If you didn't know, there's an extra hole here. I would use it, but it's an uncommon size. And anything you try to like glue up behind there or even plop into this hole, I think it's like 82 millimeter. The next size down typically is 52. So like what, 2 and some change, or 3 and bigger, which would be this size. And this size does not fit in that hole. And if it did, it wouldn't look good behind it. And if you put it on top, it'll look like my Gia, and it just kind of sits there. I'm not aesthetically a fan of it. Plus, if you separate this from the base, you don't really have any options. Anything on the dash, as far as drag race style, would look bad because you can't really hide the wires because there's no down without drilling. I'm not a fan of drilling unless absolutely needed. Now, if the owner comes back and says he doesn't like it where I mount it and wants it somewhere else, I will do that. But currently, least invasive as possible is usually my go-tos with things like this. I think I'm going to have to pull the steering wheel. Not for this, for something else in the future. But as of right now, I think here is going to be the least invasive spot. It'll give a tack. You can see it. I would like it on this side, but I don't want to take the chance of... The further I move it over, the closer I'm getting to the ignition and to punching it. Yeah, because that's like, that's right on it. And then the keys are just going to constantly tap it. Again, I'll leave some length, so if it does have to move, if he wants it over here, we'll move it over there, but currently this is where it's going to go. I feel better about that. And we got mounting surface here I can make work. Again, well, it's not going to be, it's going to be permanently temporarily installed. Let me raise this thing some, so I'm not crawling. Yeah, you guys can still sort of see. Where's that light? So yeah, plan is we'll mount it here. All right. So let's see. Power is going to be red. Like I said, I'm going to leave all these wires long, and then we'll just tuck them just so that in case we have to move this thing. I don't want to lengthen the wires more than I need to lengthen the wires. I have to find key on. I know, it's a big mess right now. Don't worry. By the time we test drive this thing, eventually, everything's going to be buttoned up nicely. What are you? That's a blinker. Okay, we're not tying into that circuit. What about you? Power on. All right, whatever that is. It's already messed with. It already has a splice on it. So I don't mind splicing into a splice. Strip that back. Power wire. I'm very generous with the amount of power wire I have on this. That's fine. Strip that back. Twist these guys together. Get a bigger terminal. One thing I try to do if I'm doing, if I'm going to splice two terminals together, especially if it's going into a connector already, one of these, I'll take off the little plastic piece on the backside, just so it gives me more insertion. If you look at like any of the other terminals, like normal terminals that go into there, they're not insulated. So it's no harm, no foul kind of thing. It's like it's factory, except with cheating. Crimp that. All right, this would be 12 volt. We can just slide it on. There we go. That'd be hot. Ground. Ground, I'm just going to go to this post that I've already used. Why make my life more complicated than it already is? You know what I'm saying? That was dumb. Let me use a fork instead of a ring. Only reason being, I do not feel like taking that screw all the way out. I can back it out and slide this behind. We know it works as a good ground spot anyway. Alright. loosen it up enough to get another ground in. Perfect. And tighten it back up. There we go. That's now grounded. Power's powered. Lights. I already back broke, but this is a lighting circuit. This will run the blinkers. So when the switch is on. Am I feeding the wrong way? Thought I checked this. Oh, you have to attach the ground dummy. Yeah. Pull light switch out. Tach will come on. Put a light switch in. That'll go off. So similar to what we just did, I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to splice the yellow together. I think yellow is illumination. Hold on. I want to make sure I don't screw it up. I'm pretty sure black and red are black and red. Running lights is for a simple, what did I say, yellow? Reason I'm using the running lights is because it's a, they're on all the time. I don't have to go and, splice into a high beam and low beam, or it's not like it's going to not work with the low beam if you turn on the high beam or vice versa. Tech tips from the idiot. Twist these together. Put this connector back on. And that should turn on. It does not. What did I screw up? Are we not getting a... Is the ground not grounding? Because I do not have a gauge light. Keon have to... For that to work? Alright. Keon has for the gauge light to come on. Okay. This is doing its thing. Cycles, light. All right. It's a little worried. I was like, that should have been correct. And the last thing is, where the hell that weight wire is that I ran all the way through this car. There it is. This will go to the green. And this I am going to use a butt connector on. I'm not going to take the, I could solder it. Ideally, I probably would, but you know what? The butt connector here is fine. It's one terminal. If one terminal bites me, I'll be, well, number one, mad. It's all wired. May not look the prettiest yet because we got to tuck all these wires away. But it indeed is wired. Again, like I said, like most things, I'll go back and clean all this stuff up so it doesn't look completely atrocious. But as of right now, it can look as atrocious as it wants for purposes. All right, with that said, car's in the air. It runs. Hopefully this works. Oh, yeah. Starter button. She's working. Bring it around. Legs. Whee! Got to figure out how to set this thing. What? Your legs in a drain pan. This is not going well. Just go to the other side. There we go. Box me in. Yeah. I don't know if you can tell, but it's doing a thing. Lights up. Revs. I don't know what the hell this thing's set for. Let's see. Cylinder mode. Set to. Key press. That's this. I mean, it sounds pretty alright. Or calculated wise. The air meter says that Tach is accurate, or pretty damn close to it. I'm probably not even going to mess with it. I'm actually going to leave it alone. If it's way off going on my, when I set timing on this thing, we'll go back and screw with it. Don't know what that was about. Is that a gas? That was weird. It has an electric fuel pump in it. I don't like where it's mounted. We are going to relocate it when we get to that point. Idle circuit. Something we're going to worry about in another day. But as of right now, like I said, I'll go back and button this thing up here, clean up, put the tar boards back in, clean all this wiring. Main thing is the switch is now going to have to live somewhere else. We're probably going to end up putting it into the dashboard. As much as I don't want to, we're probably going to have to do it just due to the fact that I can't mount the switch here anymore. Shit. Well, isn't that delightful? I mean, I can mount it on this side. That's why I left it long. I'll do the same thing. I'll just put it down there. I'm trying not to drill into the dash. I do like these seat covers. But with that said, I think we can close out this episode. It runs, the Tach works, the fog lights work. Like I said, simple-ish episode. I gotta replace the gasket on these windows too. That's for another day. Just gotta replace the gasket on this. Oh shit, we're on the locks. This back window, which I'm actually gonna have to Google how to replace the window gasket on the back window on that side, because that's one of those stupid vent windows. I mean, not stupid. You know what I'm getting at. Has one of them vent windows, and the problem with those, it's not even a problem. I don't know if they're like the forward windows to where you can independently remove vent, or if it's like intact. Not sure yet. We'll figure that out. All right, let me get this thing on the ground and close this one out. All right, guys, closing out the episode on 74. I haven't seen one of those gas caps in a while. Anyway, close out the episode on 74. Probably a short episode for you guys. I mean, it was what? Probably, most likely I had to do like an hour. It's kind of what they run to. It took me 4 hours between all the wiring and stuff like that. This kind of a reason I don't like electrical is because it takes so long. Also being tedious. And we're technically not even done yet because I still need a switch and I got to mount the Tach. I'll probably do that off camera just because it's just simple. But it is basically just making sure everything's going to work the way it should. The Tach works. It's connected to the lighting circuit like it should be. The fog lights are wired in with the relay. Like I said, you could get away without using the relay and just running 14 gauge wire, maybe 18 if, or not 18, 12 if you really want to be conscious. 14 gauge wire, you can run a straight run off of a like 25 amp rocker switch. Be completely fine. To me, using the relay gets you into smaller switches, like amperage switches, because lights pull a lot of amps. Anyway, digressing, regressing. Tach works, fogs work, everything's good. I just got to button everything up. It's getting cold. It's late, like normal. If you watch this channel long enough, you know I'm an after-hour shop for the most part, and it is late. So with that said, I'm going to close out this episode. If you like this episode, however it came out, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment if you do. I promise you we will chit-chat as always. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. I think we're doing the carburetors next, hopefully, if they come in.